So this is the guideline of my, let's say, the guideline of, the guideline of, let's say, this is the property of English department, College of Basic Education. Just, I think, is a very good idea for the research, because it's an academic research. All the departments, especially, let's say, English department, should have a guideline for their research, for the students' graduation. Okay? So the first one, I think, is very important. The number of words of the research. Okay? So this is just a proposal. We can modify it, and we're going to discuss with the head of English department. For example, this is a guideline, the section 1 introduction, the name of section 1. The number of words, as I said, for example, 450 to 500 words. And second section will be literature review, for example. So you're going to review the previous research, the practical one and the research one. And section 3, maybe we've got two kinds of research. One of them in the English department, the practical one. For example, we're going to collect the data, okay, participants, and then we're going to analyze the data, especially for the teaching issues or learning issues. And sometimes we can have an experience as a teacher, as a learner, or maybe as a learner is better, and reflection later on. And the last one is about section 4 is conclusion. So you can see the first one is so important, I think. The count number, you know, the number of words of each section. You have to specify the minimum.
Third one, how many words?
This is just a proposal, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you can apply for all the departments, but specifically for English department, okay? We should have a guideline. Because if you just visit, let's say, the top universities all over the world, you can see they have guidelines for the number of words. Another point I think we have to mention, we have to recommend which type of, let's say, font we have to specify. Not sometimes some students, they've got, let's say, using cursive, let's say, writing for decoration. It's not for beauty, okay, this academic writing. And using paragraphs, because sometimes some students, they've got one page, one paragraph. It's not like that. So you have to divide, let's say, the paragraphs into at least 3 paragraphs, okay, in each page, or maybe 4 is better. No indentation. Indentation to me is we have a small space at the very beginning of a paragraph. So nowadays, especially in Harvard reference list, let's say, nowadays writing, we don't leave any space at the very beginning of each paragraph, okay? Right. We're going to use present simple for when for example, we have a book, it was published, let's say, in 2012, it's past, okay? But we're going to use present simple because we show that this idea is still valid, it's still important, okay? Another point, line spacing should be 1.5. I think it's, when you want to read, the writing is more comfortable. And let's say the supervisor can comment on your writing, it's better. Right. So there should be one single line space, 1 inter between paragraphs. No more than 1 inter, okay? Right. Justify. Justify, it means sometimes, let me show, justify what I justify practically. This is one of the researches, for example, let me show you. This is justifying. You can see there is no any little space, especially, for example, on the right hand, because if you do not justify by Microsoft Word, it's not, it's like, you know, yeah. So it should be justified, right? Okay. Page number, heading is, so you can see in our research we got heading in some paragraphs, okay? So for heading is but the first letter of each word should be in capital. Okay, this is so important. Except preposition, numbering. You can see, for example, in English department we have, I think for the other departments we have dedication, we have acknowledgement, we have table of content. We're going to use Roman number, not the English one. Okay, and then from section 1 we're going to use the English one. Okay, from 1 to the end of the research. Right, and you can specify minimum sources that you students should use in your in the research. For example, you could say 8, 11, 12, how many books, how many, let's say, articles. It's better to specify at least, for example, you have to use 10 sources for your, or 15 sources for your writing research. Okay, now, let's look at the cover page, so important, okay? The first paper, let's say, the cover page of your research. So you can see on the left hand, as an English, right? So you're going to write down, for example, Bayan University, English department, okay? On the right hand, you're going to put, let's say, the logo of Bayan University, okay? And then, in the middle of the paper, you're going to write down the exact title of the research, okay? And then, students write down the name is here, full name is, and then supervisor name, and then this will be the same for all of the university or all the students. For example, this research submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirement in the degree of Bachelor in English at Bayan University. Okay? And then we're going to write down, sometimes some students do a mistake here, they should write down not the academic year, the month and the year they submit the research. Maybe I think in May 2018, the students, they will submit their research. And then word count, so you're going to write down, and actually you are not going to count, let's say manually. You can see in Microsoft Word, it's very easy. You can select the paragraphs, it will be counted for you automatically. Okay, this is the first page. Second page, we have dedication. So you're going to offer your research for someone. Okay, it's just one page. And the next page we will acknowledgements. We should use short paragraphs. And we don't use bullet pen. You know, bullet point is like that. You know, we don't use bullet point in usually in the acknowledgement. And not exceeding half page. Okay, don't thank everyone, your neighbor, maybe, I don't know. So just one half a page. I think it's just enough. You can thank them. As I said, your Roman numerals will be utilized. You'll be used in the acknowledgement. And then we've got table of content. Except we said that 1.5 for all the research, except let's say for the table of content we're going to use only one line space, so the space between lines. Okay. Right. Then we're going to start from section 1, introduction. It will be 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph, general background. So you're going to discuss your research in general, okay? Not in a specific way. And then the second paragraph will be the aims of the research. I think it's so important. Why this research, why conducting this research is important? What are the reasons that you conduct this research? And in the third paragraph, we're going to define the technical words, the academic words. Sometimes maybe people do not understand some words. If there is not any technical word in your research, in your title I mean, you're going to explain, paraphrase, let's say the title of research. You're going to write down in a different way. Okay? And the final research, it will be a kind of yeah, you're going to say, my research is divided into 4 sections. First section is about, second section is about, okay, and so on. It's a kind of, briefly, you're going to say the design of your research. Second the second one, the second section, section 2, it will be a literature review. We can review some practical research. We can review, literature we don't mean by poetry, poem and so on. We mean by the books, the academic books. Okay, we're going to review them because the title that you conduct now, as a research, it will be, it's not the first time. The people in the past, people many years ago, they did this research, but in a different setting, in a different context. You're gonna, let's say, you're gonna do this research in a different context. For example, in Kurdistan. Right. Section 3. By the way, in the first section of introduction, if it is the practical one, you have to specify the scope. For example, I'll say, I do a research in Hawler, okay? And then in Hawler, in, let's say, Bayan University, and in Bayan University, English department, and in English department, specifically in the second grade. This is the scope of your research, okay? And research question, if it's practical one, you have to some question is, during all of this research, you're going to answer these kind of questions. Because why do you do this research? You want to answer some questions, okay? In section 3, if it's a practical one, you're going to define, for example, which approach you're going to use it, qualitative or quantitative, okay? The participants, you're going to mention the participants, for example, teachers and students, they were involved in this research, their ages, their background, their culture and everything, okay? But if it's not a practical one, we prefer that using experience and reflection. I think last year I presented a seminar here, Reflection Writing in Detailers, and you can find on YouTube as well. You have an experience, for example, let's say second language, okay? You learned, for example, Arabic, Turkish, okay? You have some experience, you're going to connect your experience to the books that were mentioned as an academic way. Right. Section 4 is a conclusion, and you can have some suggestion as well. Of course, in paragraphs. So the font size I prefer as an English department, Times New Roman, okay? Times New Roman. The title and section title should be 14 bold, and subsection is 12 bold, and the body text 12 is enough. Normal, it means not italic, not bold. And examples, for example, especially when you do a research about drama, you have to make them italic in order to make them outstanding, okay? And light space and light space 1.5. We're going to use for in-text citation and the, let's say, references, we're going to use Harvard system. I've got let me show you. Yeah. This is a Harvard system. For example, if you use a website, make sure this website is authentic. Okay, it's academic. For example, .org, .edu, education, .government, .gov. Not, for example, we have some websites, they've got advertisement of shoes, clothes. This is not the academic, let's say, website. So make sure that the website is academic. Maybe it's a university. Of course, university is academic resource, you can use it. For example, a book is one author, two authors. What you have to do, if there's no author, there's no date, so there's everything will be sorted out by this. Harvard system mentioned all the cases. That's the end of my seminar. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm going to answer your questions.
Do you have any questions? Okay. Mr.
Yes.
Astier?
Thanks for your presentation of the seminar. Actually, a good idea to translate this exactly the guideline to Kurdish and Arabic.
If they like, yes, sir.
There are some connection between the guideline in English and
Exactly.
translate to or implement it in our departments or other departments, which is they are in English and in Arabic and Kurdish. This is the best way guideline for research in English, but you could get benefit from it to apply for.
What do you mean now?
No, if you could
Yeah.
translate it later or give us
Of course.
for our department.
I'll do my
for
best.
other
I'll do my
departments,
best.
And we could share in the ideas.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Ihsan. We appreciate your effort today. Even we didn't catch the time because it was the little or less time to offer or to cover all the main points of this research. Exactly, I want to ask you, what is the differentiation and comparison between the bachelor degree project and we can say for a master degree and PhD? What's the comparison and differentiation between those things?
I think it's a lot because it's master and bachelor
Do you
degree.
mean the length of
The length is a lot. For example, because I graduated in Britain, so it was 15,000 words. But actually, for bachelor is just maybe 5,000 is enough. Yeah, or less than.
Regarding to hypothesis, yes. Hypothesis including the introduction. I couldn't find the hypothesis.
Oh, I think in the practical one, yes, we need hypothesis. Sometimes we need it, sometimes we don't need it. Because sometimes we are not able to expect that. Okay, that's why we can't write down always hypothesis. Any other questions? Especially the English department. Thank you so much.
This question.